Well, Raptor fans, I think a lot of us had this feel coming into this game that it was going to be a really tough contest. One of the best defensive basketball teams in the game, in the Miami Heat, at home, who are now 16-1 on the year on their home floor. Raptors without Siakam, Gasol, and Norman Powell. It just didn't really look very good coming in. However, we've seen this before against teams like the Boston Celtics in Boston. But the Raptors offensively could not get anything done today as they fall 84-76 to the Miami Heat down in Miami, Florida. Defensively, the Raptors played a really good basketball game. They made the Miami Heat turn the ball over 13 times. They looked really, really good. I thought that defensively they were fantastic. But the Raptors really had a tough time making shots. Now, that is a lot of credit to the Miami Heat for the way that team plays defense. As well, whenever the Raptors were getting their wide open shots, they just weren't knocking any of them down. The team as a whole shot 32% from the field and only shot 14% from three, 6 for 43. That is really, really bad. The Raptors did not shoot the ball well at all, very well. 14 to 17 from the line, 82%. That's nice, but that's it. They didn't shoot the ball very well. I think we can all agree that the story of tonight's basketball game is that the offense just was not there. And you miss a guy like Pascal Siakam in those type of nights where you can get that offensively. You miss a guy like Norman Powell who can give you 10, 15, 20 a night, when you need him to. And Gasol spreads the floor. Are people starting to realize and starting to clue in how big of an asset Marc Gasol actually is for this team? Because I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I can tell you from just watching this team play, that their three-point percentage has plummeted since Marc Gasol has been injured. The defense hasn't been as good since Marc Gasol has been injured. Now, they did a very good job today, but overall, they haven't been very good. And the fact that you still only lose by 8 points, despite you only score 76 points and shoot 32%, you give them that. That's how well the defense did play today for the Toronto Raptors. But you're seeing the losses this team has, right? You're seeing the loss of Pascal, you're seeing the loss of Marc Gasol, and you're seeing the loss of Norman Powell. We don't know how far away these guys are from coming back. We have no clue, when this team is going to get healthy. Right, because if you look at Norman Powell, I'm right on his injury, he's a ways away. This was a quote 5 hours ago, a ways away from a return. So he's not ready yet. He won't be ready for a little while yet. Pascal Siakam, is there any news? Still out with groin injury. So that was 10 hours ago. Nothing new there. Gasol, still sidelined 10 hours ago. So we have no idea any timeline for these guys. Now, Raptor fans, if we do look at some scenario and go, okay, well, this is going to look good. The schedule for the Toronto Raptors does lighten up quite a bit the rest of the season. The Raptors have played a very top-heavy schedule, and somehow, with the injuries they've sustained, are still 23-12 on the year. It's incredible to see that. You see a lot of teams, low teams, you see a lot of those teams down the stretch, and you see a lot of those guys in the new year. I know we played Miami today, but we went through it in the last video, guys. We talked about it in the last one about the schedule being very, very soft the rest of the way. Look at how many the next main contender you can say. You can say OKC's an all right team, and Portland and Brooklyn, but if we're talking about top-notch team, the next top-notch team you face is Philly on January the 22nd. Then after that, you don't play a good team until back-to-back against Indiana in the early February. So the Raptors' schedule does even out. So, yeah, these guys are hurt right now, and yeah, it sucks. But with the schedule becoming the way it is, look, this team still has an opportunity to really succeed with these guys still injured. Obviously the next contest for the Raptors is against Brooklyn in Brooklyn. And, Brooklyn hasn't been playing well lately. How are they doing tonight? They're up 1 against Dallas in Dallas. That's a very good team in the Mavericks. So the way this Raptor team is playing right now, yeah, they're kind of up and down. We don't really know what they are. And as expected, right, with the injuries that we've sustained, have they won some very good games? Yeah. Have they lost some tough ones? Of course. But with those guys, especially the names that are sidelined, it's very difficult to find ways to win against really good teams, especially on the road, like against Miami today. Somehow they did against Boston, and they played an all-around ridiculously good game there. Today, you played a great defensive game, but the defense of Miami, as well as you were just not making your shots. Story of the game. That's just the way it was. All right, now let's get to some numbers here and talk. Well, let's go through the quarters here. Raptors were actually +2 after one quarter, 20-18. But then the offense just kind of shrivels away. 19 points scored in the second quarter. They scored 24 +5. They're up by 3 at halftime, 63-60. Or no, excuse me. That's after 3 quarters, may I add, 63-60 as. It was a 21-21 third quarter. You're only down by 3 going into the fourth, but the offense, again, just can't make shots. Raptors only score 16 points in that fourth quarter. They only score 21, and the final score, like I said, 84-76. The offense just wasn't there in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. You didn't close out strong. You didn't close the first half strong. You didn't close the game strong. It was a tough one. And you know what? People want to blame people. You guys can go ahead, but there's not one person you can sit here and blame one guy. You just can't. And if you look at numbers here, rebounding, we were -3. Offensive glass, we were +3. Assists, only 20 assists. But again, 20 assists on 28 made field goals. That's not bad. Considering you didn't make many shots, let's say you shot 40% and had over 100 points or whatever. You could be at 25, 30 assists, but they just weren't making shots. 4 steals, they had 7 steals, 8 blocks to their 4, 11 turnovers. Again, not a big issue for the Raptors today was turnovers. They had 13, we talked about that earlier. Points in the paint, Raptors dominated that 42-34. Second chance points, 16-10 for the Raptors. They won the fast break points, but the problem was, excluding those, you just weren't making shots in general. If we go to this, OG Anunoby struggled the games to start, found himself a little bit later on, ended up with a double-double, 12-12, 3 assists, 5-12 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 2 steals in the game, -1 on the floor. He started and played 37 minutes after coming off the bench in the last one. So it was a hunch, and it was a good hunch from Nick Nurse. Speaking of Nick Nurse, another technical for Nick Nurse. I mean, why not? The lady official thinks that Nick Nurse is yapping him. Maybe that was later in the game. I could be wrong about the technical, but no matter what, at one point in this game, the lady referee assumes Nick Nurse is yelling at him, so she's ready to give him a tee or something. And Nick Nurse is like, I'm not even talking to you. Like, stop looking for a technical. Take it easy. He leads the league in technicals. We are not going to talk about why, because we've talked about it many times before. I don't need to mention it yet again. Patrick McCaw, not a good offensive game. Played 27 minutes. So again, they saw the shot wasn't working, so they kept him on the bench. 3 points, 1 board, 1 assist on 1 of 8 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, -7 on the floor. Not a very good game here for him. Serge Ibaka, 19 points, 10 boards in 37 minutes, 9 of 21 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3. Again, listen to these 3-point numbers. They're not very pretty. 1 of 2 from the line as well, a couple blocks in the game, +2 on the floor with Serge. He was a plus player, but barely. Kyle Lowry didn't shoot the ball very well, as everybody didn't. 15 points, 4 boards, 7 assists in 40 minutes, 4 of 16 shooting, 2 of 12 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line, a steal in the game for Lowry, a -1 on the floor. And Fred VanVleet, the numbers aren't pretty. He ended with 7 points, 4 boards, 7 assists on 3 of 16 shooting, 1 of 11 from 3-point range for Fred VanVleet. Had a steal in the ball game, was a -11 while he was on the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet combined for 3 for 23 from beyond the arc. That's not good. Not good whatsoever. And you saw it in today's game. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, I thought he played a pretty good basketball game. 29 minutes, 13.7 boards and assists on 4 of 8 shooting, 5 of 6 from the line, had 2 blocks in the game. Yeah, he was a -8 on the floor. Chris Boucher, again, took 1 shot, made the shot, 2 points, 8 boards in 13 minutes, 1 of 1 shooting, didn't take a shot, didn't take a 3, 1 block and 1 steal and 3 blocks in the game, -7 for Chris Boucher. And Terrence Davis struggled shooting the ball today, 5 points, 2 boards, 1 of 6 shooting, 0 of 5 from 3 for Terrence Davis, 3 of 3 from the line in 13 minutes. It was a -3 while he was on the floor. And Stanley Johnson was out there for a measly 6 minutes. It was a -4 while he was out there. So just like overall, not a pretty basketball game. And that's okay. I hate to say it like that. Raptor fans are going to get so angry at players because they're not making shots. Well, they can't do it every night. Especially with 3 of your big guys away from the game. You look at Marc Gasol. What does Marc Gasol bring to this team? Interior defense. He gives you not bad perimeter defense. He spaces the ball on the offensive floor, allows the wide open shots, can sprinkle in some threes here and there, and can rebound the ball. He's a big guy who can do a lot of good things. Powell, we can learn. He's a great on-ball defender, and he can create an offense. We've been seeing that since before he got injured. He can create offense. He looks really, really good when he's healthy, Norman Powell. And Pascal Siakam, enough said. The guy's turned into a much complete player on offense, defense, blocking, rebounding, moving the ball, all that stuff. He's really done an incredible job becoming a player this season. The problem is, they're all hurt. And to expect to beat a team as good as Miami on the road, it's not easy to do. And the Raptors just did not do that today. They didn't play well enough. They didn't shoot the ball well enough. They defended great, but you can only do so much on the defensive end if your offense ain't flowing. And it happened tonight. Fine, so be it. But the schedule, like I said, gets a little bit easier. All right? The next contest for the Raptors is on Saturday, 6 p.m. tip-off in Brooklyn. I think they're still at the Barclays Center, aren't they? That's still what it's still called. It's still called the Barclays Center. In Brooklyn, as the Raptors look to get back into the win column, they look to put that Miami game behind them, and they look to go into that game against Brooklyn looking to get a win, feel good, and continue to build up the win column. Because, you know what? You've had some losses lately against good teams, but they're finding ways to grind games down. A lot of these losses are not blowout losses. Other than the Boston game on Christmas Day, which you repaid the favor in Boston, the Raptors have been very good, even with the injuries. So just ladies and gentlemen, let's just take this game by game, not worry too much about it, and go into Brooklyn on Saturday looking for a W. That's all we can really do at this point, all right? So, guys, you know what? Oh, what happened there? All right, you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the defensive effort in this game today, because that was about it, smack that like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the Raptors defense today. What were your thoughts of the offense? What do you think they're missing, like, big time, from those three guys that are injured? Because I think personally it's Marc Gasol's play. I love Siakam, I love Norm Powell, but the reason I would say Gasol, because he does so many things, small things, to really help everybody on the team succeed. And you're missing that right now, especially a game like tonight where nobody could get hot. That's the way it happened, guys. All right? So, what is it? That is, I don't know what that was. That was not pretty. Okay. What was that? Comment down below everything you guys want to talk about when it comes to this team. Twitter is down below for myself, guys. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Patreon link is in the description. If you guys are interested in following up the Patreon account, sign up down below. The link is in the description for that. I'll talk to you guys Leafs edition as they're in the third period now against the Winnipeg Jets. So we'll talk to you guys at post-game there. Hopefully the Leafs can come away with that victory there. They're in front 5-3 at the moment. We're going to see how it all finishes out, though. And as for our Raptors, as we talked about, their next contest is on Saturday night in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, as Raptors look to get back into the win column after tonight's tough loss against the Miami Heat. All right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. What was that? I don't know. It's coming up like crazy. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.